Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, right behind me, the RSI Scorpius. Let's go ahead and take a look. Welcome back to another review. Today, the Robert Space Industries Scorpius, which is a heavy fighter. Thank you to the three that joined me today in making sure I can occupy the turrets as well as have a wingman to show you all the new features and functions of this ship since my last review. This ship, if you were to buy it on the Pledge Store, is $240, or if you buy it in-game, it is $5,443,200 aUEC. Definitely a great in-game price for what this ship can do for you. If you're out there looking to pick a fight, you can definitely do that. This ship has a claim time of 7 minutes and 35 seconds, or if you were to expedite that, it is 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Definitely a great expedite time. If you ever get shot down and you need to get back onto that fight as quickly as possible, you can definitely do that. It's awesome. I do think the smaller claim times with these ships, which someday they might not be nearly as small, and it might be dependent on the resources of a station or a landing zone, but as of right now, I think that's fantastic, and I do appreciate that. Now, this ship did have recent additions, including a flight blades pack that changes either your speed and takes away your maneuverability, or changes your maneuverability and takes away your speed, which we'll get into here in just a moment. There was also a weapon kit that was added to the game for this ship, which gives you the Lazath missile turret, which currently has a lot of concerning issues that almost makes it hard to use. When you get into the pilot seat, you do have control over those missiles, but if you were to have a co-pilot, you have to do a couple different things to have that co-pilot gain control of those missiles, and then it's kind of wonky and it's not too intuitive right now. If they're going to give the pilot control over that turret, they should be giving it over the control of the other regular turret as well, so hopefully we'll see an update on that. That weapon kit is $30 if you were to buy it with store credit, or if you buy it with War Bond, it is $25. So something definitely to consider there. Now, the pilot does have 1,024 pilot DPS. If you were to go ahead and hop to that pilot seat, you have control over 4 size 3 CF-337 Panthers, as well as 16 size 2 Tempest 2 missiles, which honestly is a fantastic amount of damage, but it's not enough to keep up with other heavy fighters that only seat 1 or sometimes 2 others. You almost have to have a turret gunner to take full advantage of its damage output, and that's due to that remote turret on the top also outputting 1,024 damage per second due to its 4 size 3 CF-337 Panthers. Now, all in total, that's 8 CF-337 Panthers when occupied, and I gotta say, it's a great amount of damage output because your capacitors are typically quite ridiculous, over 150 shots on each gun before you have to recharge, which, I mean, if you're asking me, that is a great great time if you are able to take advantage of that. Hopefully someday that gun on the top, that turret, will be slaved to the pilot when that co-pilot seat isn't occupied. That should be just the normal thing on any ship with a turret like that in the heavy fighter realm or lower, because honestly, why wouldn't it be? 900 years in the future from now, you would definitely have control over all of that. Now with that, you do have one military size 2 grade C shield generator outputting 4,740 bubble shield, which is a decent amount of shield. It's a bit less than some ships, but it's also about average with other heavy fighters out there like the Guardian or the Guardian QI, which is good. I mean, if you're getting into this ship and you're looking for a massive amount of shield generation, you won't find it here, but that will definitely keep a lot of your laser, attacks on you from hitting your hull right away. Now, once they do break through your shield, you do have 43,660 HP, which honestly, that number will go away someday with engineering, and you got to be more concerned about, the penetration of ballistics and other weapons hitting your components and knocking you out. So that is definitely something to think about with a ship like this, because it doesn't have an interior space. Something like the Guardian or even the Vanguard series, you have an interior space where you can go ahead and take care of any sort of component repair or damage or relay replacement from the inside of your ship in the safety of the inside of your ship, compared to something like this where you have to leave your cockpit and potentially get into harm's way out in EVA or on the ground to do any sort of repairs and get you back out there and flying. That is definitely something to consider with a heavy fighter like this or the F-8C. Now, this ship does have a top SCM speed without any flight blades of 230 SCM with a 590 forward boost and a 235 backwards boost with a top nav speed of 1,385. Now, with that, you do have a pitch yaw roll of 40, 30, 145, or boosted 48, 36, 174. It's definitely not terrible and does outmaneuver quite a few other heavy fighters with these numbers, and the speed department's also really good. Now, if you change it up and add a flight blade like the Scorpius B, that lowers your top speed to 222 SCM with a 580 forward boost, a 225 backwards boost with a top nav speed of 1,360. Now, that also affects your maneuverability because that flight blade is a maneuverability boost, but only by a very hair. You have a 41, 31, 147 pitch yaw roll, or boosted 49, 37, 176. So you're only gaining a point in almost every category except for the roll area where you gain a couple points, and so not too much of a difference for quite a dramatic loss of speed. Now, if you were to use the Scorpius TSB blade, that one has 240 SCM, 605 forward boost, 235 backwards boost with a top nav speed of 1,405. Now, you do lose some of your maneuverability from your standard at 39, 29, 143, or boosted 47, 35, 172. So again, you're only losing a point in each category except for your roll where you lose 2 points. Definitely not a big kill to your maneuverability. If you want that added speed, that's definitely the route to go. Now, this ship does have 48 flares and 5 noise, so it's your average with fighters out there to have a small amount of flares and noise, so missile avoidance, you'll only be able to do that for so long. Now, you do have a top fuel tank of 13.5 SCU of hydrogen fuel and 1.8 SCU of quantum fuel. Now, before we go ahead and hop into battle, just a quick look at the cockpit to show you what that looks like. It's a really nice cockpit view, giving you a great view above you and below you. And then, after the battle scene here in just a moment, I'll give you my score. All right, as you can see, if you have that gun occupied, this ship can absolutely punch above its weight class due to the massive amount of firepower that the pilot and the turret combined have against other targets, and you're pretty agile with a great base speed. Now, if you add other additions like a flight blade, you're definitely going to have a little bit more of a benefit as well, so this ship has some great modability. Its livability, though, does get hit a bit because you have a pilot seat and a co-pilot seat, and it takes you about 15 to 20 seconds to get into each one of those seats, and that is just really not good if you're in an emergency situation and you're trying to get somewhere fast. You're going to have to wait for that animation, for that cockpit to close, to turn on your systems and everything before you can do anything. Now, there's also this fun little thing where the co-pilot, the gunner, when they're getting into the ship, the second they hit that entry button, you can go ahead and just take off and leave because they're going to go ahead and zip right to your ship as seen on screen. With that, the ship is an 84 out of 100. It does have a full components pass. You do have weapons area. You do have storage. This ship is quite fantastic if you're asking me. Flying it solo will definitely be a little bit more difficult due to its weapons, convergence from the wings, and not having that gunner seat occupied makes it not as powerful as it could be. So that is something to definitely consider there. Its firepower, turret firepower are a little lacking on their own, but combined over 2,000 damage per second is quite fantastic. And then you do have a decent amount of shield and decent amount of HP, but it's definitely not higher than a lot of other heavy fighters and might be a little bit lower than the average. Otherwise, that is it for the Scorpius today. Let me know what you think of the ship down in the comments below. And do you have one, or have you moved on to something like the Guardian or a Vanguard? Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. You all are truly amazing. And guess what? Tomorrow is Anvil Day, so get ready as we're about to experience a new ship, the Asgard, with a giveaway. So thank you, and can't wait to see you all out there in the verse.